you'll forgive me for saying this, two of the very most special people in this room tonight. Eric and Sherry Carswell spent some time in the Star Family Center a few years back, and they have turned their lives around. And it's a story that you just must hear. So I invite Eric and Sherry Carswell, please, to come to the front.
Good evening, everybody.
Well, start off, I'll give a quick backstory. Myself and my wife are from Georgia. I've been in law enforcement for over 9 years. She's been juvenile corrections for over 9 years. And due to a couple of unfortunate incidents in our neighborhood, a couple of violent crimes, we decided to move our children to somewhere safer. We decided to come to Florida. Well, she and I both had jobs lined up at the Department of Juvenile Justice. She was already working in that field. This was going to be my first chance working in this field. And something fell through, so we had to bring our children with us. Well, when we brought our children with us, it was around October. Being unfamiliar with Florida, I knew nothing about Biketoberfest. So we wound up running out of money, and she was going back and forth to Tallahassee, and I wound up having to have the kids by myself for the majority of the weeks. Then we ran out. We wound up, she was in Tallahassee and I was sleeping in my truck with my, at the time, 4 children behind the Days Inn out there by the interstate. Hardest time I've ever had in my life. I cried like a baby. Because here I am, the veteran, the police officer, former correction officer. I'm homeless with my children. It was the most loneliest time of my life. You'll have to forgive me. I turned around and went to one stop. After the 4 days, I looked over at my son that night before, and I was crying. I was trying to wait till they went to sleep, and I was crying. And I look over and I see his bright face looking at me. He said, "Dad, you're a good dad. You're going to find us somewhere to stay. I know you are." He said, "We're not worried." And it was like God spoke to me through my son. That morning I went to one stop. They saw the emotion in my face, and I said, "Listen, I'll shovel horse crap. I don't care. Give me something to do. I got to take care of my 4 children." Well, the ladies from one stop asked me to bring my children in. They fed my children, and they sent me to the Star Shelter. The Star Shelter welcomed me in. They had room enough for me and my 4 children. And I explained to them that my wife was in training at the time. They said, "No problem. We have a room for you." And for 6 months, we stayed in the Star Shelter. Fast forward. Here I am. I work for Haven Recovery Center. I am a case manager. I'm a housing case manager. Coincidentally, I help provide housing for other homeless people. When Rick called me, and Rick said, "Would you mind speaking? Because you're one of the many success stories." I told him, "Of course." I'm not a public speaker, as you can see. I'm kind of nervous. I got my wife's hand so tight right now. But I'm not going to pass up a chance to tell you, as a man standing before you here, if it were not for the grace of God and the Star Shelter, I don't know where I'd be. Rich, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And from my family, because if it wasn't for you and the Star Shelter, I do not know where I would be today. Thank you.